From the magnificent Chicago skyline to the Sierra Nevada, crossing through the heart of the Colorado's Rocky Mountains, the Amtrak California Zephyr has a lot to give and offer. My name is Raphael, and I love trains.
Welcome to the most scenic rail line in America, the California Zephyr. Today, we're riding from Chicago's Grand Union Station and taking a trip through 7 states of the United States, through the Rockies, and ending in Sacramento, California.
We arrive at Chicago's Union Station 1 hour prior to the main departure. Located west of Canal Street, the Union Station occupies one entire city block. It was designed by Daniel Burnham with Bronze Art facades, massive Greek columns, marble floors, and brass lamps. At its center is the Great Hall, the main waiting room for all transits. Around the Great Hall are numerous smaller spaces containing restaurants and services, and a wide passageway leading to the concourses. As we arrived early, we were waiting for our train at the Metropolitan Lounge. This specific area provides service to only Amtrak's long-distance sleeping car passengers. The lounge comes in with free snacks and hot coffee at the bar. Our train was awaiting for us at the 22nd platform, located at the south of the station. In this trip, we are taking the roomette number 531, which was in the front of the fleet. Our train departed Union Station 15 minutes late due to a small, minor mechanical issue. Oh no. And as our train gains in speed, we have found ourselves at the Amtrak's maintenance facility. At this angle, we can see the Amtrak Superliners, Amfleets, and Horizon cars. There are a lot of different varieties of cars at the Amtrak maintenance facility in Chicago. If you want to see more of these equipments, you will have to go up on Roosevelt Bridge. That is where you will get a full-scale view of the entirety of the yard. As we come up to the middle area of the yard, we can see some of the primary fleet that Amtrak uses, the GE Genesis P42 locomotives, and the newer Siemens SE44 Charger locomotive. Further down the yard, we can see other equipments, including the Horizons, the Sleepers cars, and the newer Siemens Venture cars, built in Siemens Mobility Center in Sacramento, California, and delivered during 2021 and 2022. These cars will replace the older Horizon cars and the Amfleet cars. As our train curves away from the yard, we could see a glimpse of the other equipment stored in the Amtrak yard, including the much newer ALZ 42, which will replace the older P42s and -8s. As we curve down, we are heading towards the BNSF to Aurora mainline, which shares services with our train, the Southwest Chief Midwest Services. The line that goes straight down includes Metro Southwest Services, Texas Eagle, City of New Orleans, and Amtrak's Cardinal. This is the room that we're staying for tonight. It's called the roomette. Each roomette contains 2 seats for you to sit comfortably with your partner. And it also comes with pillows, which are really comfortable. In your roomette, you'll be able to activate the lights and change the temperatures. You'll also have an electric plug. However, you only have one, so you gotta use this wisely. So, it's recommended you bring this along with you. Your roomette also contains a built-in table. You can just bring this bad boy out and fold the tops open. Now, you have a built-in table. Your roomette also contains some water so that you can drink. So delish. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the bathroom that we'll be using for the next 3 days. As you can see, the bathroom is pretty good. You have towels for you guys to use and soap. The shower itself is held together by magnets. You pull the handle, and you can jump right in. All you have to do is follow the instructions and the shower will turn on and off. Well, that's all there is to the bathroom and shower. The section of track between Chicago and Aurora is known as the racetrack because the entire line is 3 tracks, just like that of a car race, but with trains. I saw a lot of trains during this trip, and I was also lucky enough to catch this beauty. It's a Burlington locomotive in its old green paint. Speaking of the BNSF railroad line, the BNSF rail line was formed with the merger of the Burlington Northern and the Santa Fe, creating the Burlington Northern Santa Fe, hence the name BNSF. As we head through the middle of this BNSF yard, there are many different sidings on both sides of the main line. A lot of the sidings are filled with many different goods, including grain, fruits, vegetables, and tanks of ethanol, fuel, and gasoline. Whew, that's wild. In one of the sidings, we noticed a BNSF manifest freight train waiting in the siding for us to pass, and when we pass, he gets out. Further down the line, just a few minutes later, we're racing against an empty coal train. This train is at least a mile long, because it took us about 5 minutes to get past it. Wow. Around 3 hours later, we arrive at the historic station of Galesburg, Illinois.
Welcome to Galesburg, Illinois. This is our 3rd stop on the California Zephyr. Galesburg is also a little break time for us. As you can see right here, Galesburg is actually home to some very unique equipment. You can see down there, there's an 18th century coach car and a baggage. And you can also see the steam engine.
Galesburg is a major junction along the line. Dividing into 3 lines, our train will take Fort West towards Colorado, while the Southwest Tube will go southwest towards Kansas City, while an Amtrak Midwest train will take its route further south towards Quincy. Other than the town of Burlington just across the Mississippi River, there's not much interesting stuff through the valley. There's only a few yards and a few sidings. Other than that, it's just flat grain fields. So let's catch up together at Denver, Colorado. As we wake up to the second day of our journey from our good night's slumber, we are just in time to catch our arrival into Denver, Colorado. As we pull through into the city, we pass through one of the many yards that Denver has scattered all across the city to deliver important supplies and goods. The one that we're passing through right now is owned by the BNSF Railroad Company. Then suddenly, our train just stops just past this switch, where one of the crew members waits, and then he pulls the lever accessing to Union Station. A little while later, our train then slowly backs through across that switch and eventually into the grand Denver Union Station.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Denver, Colorado. Right now, the temperature is approximately 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Our train is having to stop for an hour because our train is doing a crew change, maintenance, and fuel run. So, we get to have some time to explore Denver for about an hour.
Since the break will take a long time, and we don't want to wait in the train doing nothing, we decided to take a peek at the Grand Station while my dad came to greet his college classmate, whom he hasn't seen for nearly 10 years. After a little meet, our train called the all-aboard signal, so we hopped back on, and soon our train had departed Denver. Before, the yards we had passed were extremely dark, but now the yards can be seen clear as day as we exited the station. As we exited Denver, we crossed over two BNSF tracks where we noticed a manifest train was waiting in one of those tracks for us to pass. As you know, Amtrak does have the priority to exit in and out of Denver and all across America. However, there are some times where we have to wait for other trains, especially when we're late. Now back to where we're on. As we depart Denver once again, we came across a Union Pacific manifest yard where we see a crew switching grain cars in and out of these sidings. As we head towards the Moffett's Tunnel, a dense fog surrounds us around El Dorado Mountain, but the conductor claims that as we follow through the rails, the fog will clear and we will be able to see again.
Alright folks, this is just a little preview here to your right for all the fall colors that are coming up. All those aspens are turning bright gold and red as we continue our trek through here. Right when we get to Rollins, the middle mountain town that we're going to go through. So we got Pine Cliff coming up, Rollins, and then Toland. Right when you get into about Pine Cliff, on your left and your right, you should be able to see some beautiful fall colors.
Welcome to Winter Park, Colorado. Winter Park is known for its ski resort. The ski resort is not open right now because there is obviously no sign of snow anywhere. Our train is having a little picnic and a rest stop, allowing us to get a big and fresh air stop.
Get ready to pull into our next station stop of Granby, Colorado. If you're leaving us at Granby, thank you for riding Amtrak. Come back, see us again soon. Going to get you off in the coach you are traveling in. And again, this will be a brief station stop for our Granby passengers only.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best spots for watching nature on the California Zephyr is when we are meeting I-70. This stretch between Dotsero and Glenwood Springs is one of the most scenic parts of the California Zephyr, with tall, jagged canyons with many different shades of red bordering both sides of the Colorado River. This stretch of track runs through the heart of nature. So, our train slows down for our viewers to take as much pictures and videos as they like. As we are approaching into Glenwood Springs, we pass a glimpse of the Rocky Mountaineer sitting in one of those sidings. Our train was speeding ahead, and the Rocky Mountaineer was stopped due to its low priority. After Glenwood Springs, the train is heading towards Grand Junction, Colorado. As we are approaching Grand Junction, we pass through the former Denver and Rio Grande Yard. The Rio Grande Railroad was an American Class I railroad company. The railroad mainly served as a transcontinental bridge line between Denver and Salt Lake City, Utah. The Rio Grande was also a major origin of coal and mineral traffic. Today, most of the former main lines of the DNRGW are now owned and operated by the now present Union Pacific Railroad, or the big yellow railroad that we all see today, with several branch lines that are now operated as heritage railways by various different companies. Speaking of Grand Junction, the town is named after its location at the junction of the Gunnison River and Colorado River. It is also a gateway to the monoliths, canyons, and plateaus of the Colorado's National Monument. The station is adjacent to the original Denver and Rio Grande Depot, as we have spoken of.
Grand Junction, Colorado is another restaurant for the California Zephyr. Right now, our train is having a little crew change and cleanup. So we'll be staying here for about 10 more minutes.
A few moments later.
All aboard the California Zephyr!
As we departed Grand Junction, we passed through the mighty Ruby Canyon. However, as our time of day comes, the light was very bad, so we wouldn't be able to take that many good pictures and videos of the canyon and its beauty. However, not to worry. Our first video actually has great shots of the canyon. Now, let us fast forward to the day that will be coming soon. And by the way, I haven't told you about the concepts of the train cars on this trip today, so let's talk about that right now. Our train's concepts for the next 3 days include 1 baggage car, 2 sleepers, 1 diner, 1 lounge car, and 2 coach class cars. Our sleeping car has a very narrow hallway to be able to accommodate as much space for each room as possible. The largest of these rooms is the family room. The dining car is a little more spacious and more inviting. Each table on each side of the car is seated next to a window where you will be able to enjoy the scenery as you eat. My favorite car in this set is the lounge car. The lounge car is a very sunny place for you to rest, enjoy, and watch. With windows surrounding all sides of the car, with bright light shining through the day and in the morning, you'll be able to have a nice view of the sceneries that pass by, taking an opportunity to get as much pictures and videos as possible. Last but not least is the coach class, which has some nice features, including adjustable seating and leg rests for you to sit comfortably. As we woke up, the sun blazed through the Nevada desert. The desert showed how barren it is. Barely any water, barely enough food.
Come on down, fresh brewed hot coffee. Blueberry muffins, open and serving, lower level of the sightseeing car. Good morning, good morning. Have a great day. Thank you for riding the California Zephyr.
The voice we just heard was from Mr. Martin, comedian and cashier of the Trans Cafe car below the lounge. He has made this trip memorable by keeping everyone happy and joyful, being my friend, and sharing great information about the areas that we pass.
Welcome to Reno, Nevada. Reno, Nevada is another crew change point, grass top, and smoke break. Our break will last another 8 minutes. Right now, we have only 6 hours left on this journey to arrive at Sacramento.
Reno Station, Nevada, located at 280 Commercial Road, is pretty unique. The station itself is situated underground below all the streets and buildings above. This is due to the railroad activity at Reno, which is substantial. And to avoid the hassle of traffic jams, the city of Reno has decided to make the station be underground. As we exit Reno, we are now on the last leg of this trip, lasting for about 5 hours. In these last hours on this trip, we will cross from the dry desert of Nevada to the lush mountainous wilderness of the Sierra Nevada and into California. We will soon be following the Truckee River, passing through the crystal blue Donner Lake, stopping at the tourist town of Truckee and into the historic town of Colfax. Soon we will be reaching the end of the mighty Trans Continental Railroad, Sacramento. Because of the time and weather in the fall, the trees in this area won't be as picturesque as it would seem. Fortunately, in our first video, we have great videos of the Sierra. I personally recommend you to come between the late spring and early summer to be able to enjoy the beauty of the Sierra Nevada once you think about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally arrived at Sacramento, California.
In this trip, we plan to take the train by flying to the heart of Chicago. We spent 3 days at the bustling city. We rode down on the magnificent Chicago Riverwalk, tasted the Chicago-style deep dish pizza, visited the famous Chicago Theater. This trip, we shared many memories with the passengers who also love trains. We met David Mongold, the train conductor from Ohio, and Martin, the cafe manager, comedian, and best friend of mine. Thank you for watching. We'll meet again.